Chris, so did your brother's decision to come here to Northwestern sort of influence your decision? What's it like sort of being on the team with him and playing alongside him?
I'm sure you can imagine there'd be a lot of bickering, spending as much time as we do together, but I like it a lot. I mean, we've really matured together and grown up together, obviously, from birth, but to be able to enjoy like our late teens and early 20s together has been really special. And obviously, yeah, his decision to come here influenced me heavily because in my recruiting process, I never really thought I would consider walking on. But then when I had the opportunity to visit, because my brother just told me to give it a shot in the later half, like it was actually the weekend before sign day, I came here and it was love at first sight. I knew it was home. I knew the guys were family, even without Joe, but he was the reason I even gave it a shot, and I couldn't be happier that he did. So it's great. And we're each other's biggest supporters, so it's a lot of fun.
Chris, in watching the game, I thought in the third quarter and even in the fourth quarter, the team really had an all-out effort not to give in, not to give out. It seemed like that everyone was still on the same page, giving a great effort. Is that the way you felt?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thought that that's kind of been the nature of our team this whole year through the ups and downs, and obviously there's been a few downs that we haven't quit. Our effort has been relentless through and through, and I think that's what's going to carry us into the second half of the season is knowing that our losses have been fundamental errors or mental errors, stuff that's fixable. You can't fix effort. You can't teach effort, and that's something that we've been giving week in and week out in practice and games in the off season. I think that's going to bode well for us in this back half of the season.
With you guys sitting at 1-5 right now, what's the frustration level in the locker room? I mean, what's the mood, and how do you keep things positive and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't believe this, but our attitude in the locker room actually is pretty high right now. And I think Fitz said it best, as you guys heard. We're hitting control, delete all at the same time, and this is our second half of the season. And with anything in life, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And this season's going to be remembered by how we finish. So we control our own destiny these last 6 games, and we're heading into it like it's a new season, and we're going to give it all we got. But morale's high, and we're ready to go.
So what is that process like, though, of hitting the reset button after a game like Friday where you guys were just pretty uncompetitive, and the scoreline obviously maybe says more. It might have been closer than the scoreline, but still obviously 49 points. How do you just recover from that and go into the next week?
It's pretty simple. You give the 24-hour rule, you flush it, fess it, and fix it. And so we watch what we needed to fix today in film. We fess it, we fix it, we move forward. And we're going to tip our hats where credit is due. Ohio State right now is playing the best football in the country. And when you're playing a team that gifted, that talented, you can't afford to make any mistakes, and they didn't make any mistakes. So we tip our hats to them. They beat us, but we got to move on. We can't sit here and dwell on a loss like that because you can't let one game define you. And so we're moving on from that, and we're gonna fix it.
Going from a quarterback like Fields to a quarterback like Stanley, how does that change your job, and how does that change your job?
It's actually not very different. It just kind of changes your mindset a little bit when a guy drops back like Fields. You kind of have your antennas up, like get ready for this guy to scramble, get ready for him to get out of the pocket. Whereas Stanley, you're ready to get a little deeper in your coverage, a little deeper in your zone, getting ready for him to pass it. But overall, our technique, our footwork, all that stuff stays the same. It's day one. Basic footwork, basic technique. So it doesn't really change, but I guess you're just kind of mental wiring, your kind of keys are a little bit different, your tendencies that you look for in a quarterback.
What's on your right thumb?
Oh, just a splint. It's just to keep it nice and upright. So I just jammed it a little bit. It's all right.
All good?
Yeah, it's real good.
Cool.
I appreciate that, though, the concern.
Anything else for Chris? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
And asked, how is the team staying positive after a loss like Friday night?
I mean, last Friday was a tough loss for sure. I mean, you hate to lose any game, but to lose 52-3, you know, that's a big loss. But I mean, with any game, like win or loss, like you have to watch the film, see what you did wrong, see what you did right, and just go from there. And like you just hit the reset button every week.
So, Chris was talking about it a little bit too, but you're in the same boat. You're playing with your brother. So, just what's that like to have him with you on the team and be able to spend your college years with him and continue that relationship other than being a child and a teenager.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we make each other better. I mean, we work out together, watch film together. You know, we do basically everything together, and it's been that way since he was born. Since I was probably like 1.5. But yeah, so it's been great, and just having here is like truly a blessing because I know not a lot of people get to enjoy college football with a member of their family.
The run defense early was pretty good against Ohio State, and then Trevor Kent gets injured, and there are a few more holes. What can you explain just how important he is to have next to you playing on the line?
I mean, yeah, every guy is important in our defense. Trevor going down was tough, but we have guys like Jake Saunders and Joe Spivak that will step up and play well for us. And we just have to be better. Like we had a couple of one-man breakdowns that are easily fixable, and that's what we're going to do this next week.
Ohio State, hit you for some big plays on Friday night. Were they more mental errors? Were they just guys getting beat at one point? Was it a one-man breakdown, like you say, and is it mental or physical kind of thing?
I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, we just have to trust ourselves. Like everyone on the defense has to just do your job, and we're going to be fine. I mean, we had a couple of times where I feel like, we're playing a big team. Sometimes guys trying to do a little bit too much, trying to do more than just their job, and that's when we get into trouble. But, yeah, easily fixable.
Anything else for Alex? Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alex.
All right, thank you.